doing? Welcome to Backyard Barbecue. Today we're going to be doing up some competition ribs. You can follow along with me start to finish on how I do my competition ribs. We'll be trying out a new sauce I got in the mail yesterday from Cosmos Q. It's called OPX1. The stuff I tried out of the bottle yesterday, it's off the hook. I want to try it on some meat today, so stick with me. We're going to be doing it up. Alright, so as you can see, we have everything wiped down. Now what we're going to begin doing here is we're going to cut this little flap off here just so we have a nice rack of rib. So what we're going to do is kind of find this seam right here. You can kind of see that natural fat seam right in there. What we're going to do is we're just going to line up our knife and we're just going to cut through it. Takes a little pressure to get through, but that's all right. Just get through all the way. Just keep it nice and straight. So now this little flap is gone. So I'm going to set that off to the side. You can see here, looks pretty good. Starting to square up a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over. We're going to get to work on the other side here. You can see you have all this extra junk right here and then this flap right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to trim this flap off. So we're just going to trim it up, trim up any large chunks of fat we see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in about right here. It's a little tiny half a bone right there and then a full bone. I'm going to come in and I'm just going to get that off of there. Over here you got a flap. Then you got 1, 2, 3. I think for this I'm just going to come in 2. I may go in a third if I was doing a competition, but I'm just going to get that little flap off here. Now what I'm going to do next is just go and trim any of this excess fat right here. So it's going to be hard to see here, but I'm just going to square this up. So I'm going to come in and go down and I'm just going to square it up. So that's looking pretty good. I mean, it's pretty square. So that's about where I want it. That's a nice solid squared up rack. All right, one thing I forgot to mention is we do want to get this membrane on the back off. The easiest way I've found to do it is take a butter knife, get in about the second or third bone, and get underneath it and just kind of work that membrane up. And then from there, just grab a paper towel and then you're just gonna sit and just pull that membrane off, and you can see it kind of ripped there. That's all right, it's not a problem. We'll get working on that again. So that's pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in and I'm going to trim a little bit extra fat off of this thing on the back. So there it is. That's how we're going to roll. I'm going to get things cleaned up and then we're going to come back and we're going to season this wrap. What I like to do is I like to start from the back, and I like to use a binder, just a little bit of yellow mustard. People say I don't like mustard. Well, you're not going to taste it. And if you say you can taste it, I'm calling BS on that one, because I've never tasted mustard on my ribs doing it this way. So that's just what we're going to do. Just a light coating. Just make sure you get your edges if you can with the excess. You want to get rub on the edges too. So what I'm going to start off with here is Boar's Night Out White Lightning. It's awesome on beef. So we're going to do a very, very light coating, because this is pretty salty stuff and we're going to be layering on the flavors here. So we're just going to do a light coating of this all-purpose rub. So that's about all we want for that. We're just going to press it in. Do not rub it in. I know it's called a rub. Do not rub it in. So the next one we're going to be doing, it's called Honey Bacon Barbecue for Meat Church. I really like the color that this gives ribs. I haven't used it in competition yet. That's kind of why we're trying it out today. So we're just going to do a light coating of that too. Just very, very light. Just get all of the backs here. It smells good. It smells like bacon and deliciousness. So we're going to tap that in. The next one we're going to do is our team's secret proprietary blend rub. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I apologize for that, but this is something that we came up with as a team. And this is what we use. So this is a bottle, a shaker bottle from Zero to Hero barbecue rub. Full discretion, that is not what is in here. So if you think you figured it out, you didn't. So there's a little heavier coating with our main rub here. And then we're gonna top it off with a little bit of the Killer Hogs hot barbecue rub. Just a light coating of that, just for a little heat. So now we're gonna flip it over. We're gonna do the other side. Now that's looking good. We're gonna make sure we press it in. Again, we're not rubbing it in, we're just pressing it in. And you can already tell that that is getting a really, 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 really nice color on it. All right, so as you can see, we have the rack rubbed up. All our edges are done here. Starting to sweat a little bit, getting a nice color on it. So we're gonna let this rest for a little bit and we're gonna go get the pit fired up. All right guys, so as you can see, we have the ribs on the pit. It's pretty important here, but however you put them on your pit is how they're going to cook. So I like to keep them semi-straight, and then I scrunch both ends together so you get a nice straight meaty rib. But just look at the color you got on this right now. I mean, that is phenomenal. So today we're cooking on my Pit Boss Austin XL. I have about 7 smokers in my garage, but I really like this one. As you can see, it's snowy and cold here. It's about 10 degrees here in Minnesota, so this is what we're rocking with today, and we're cooking at about 250, and we're gonna check on them here in about an hour. All right, folks, so it's been about an hour. We're gonna take a look and see how these ribs are looking here. All right, and as you can see, they're looking pretty good. They're getting a little dry, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna spritz them a little bit here, just to keep them moist. And what I'm spritzing with here is water, apple juice, and apple cider vinegar, all about equal parts. However you want to spritz is fine. So we are going to get this closed up. Alright, so it's been another hour. We're going to take a look at how they're looking. Full discretion, I did come out here and spritz at the half-hour mark just to make sure that these stayed moist. And they are looking pretty good. I think we're going to give them a little bit longer here, but as you can see, they're looking really, really good. It's got a beautiful color. So far, those rubs working together are just doing an awesome job. All right, so it's been about another 45 minutes. We're gonna take a look at these. All right, as you can see, these are looking really good. They got a good mahogany color to them. I think this is about where the color is that I want them to be. So I'm gonna get these off and get them inside, and I'm gonna show you the wrapping process. All right, guys, we're inside. Just wanted to show you the color on these. I mean, they look awesome. Just beautiful mahogany red color to them. So now we're gonna get them wrapped up and get them tender. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is flip these over, and you can kind of see here, we have a little bit of these black things that are coming out, dried blood coming out of there. We're just gonna pull those off. They're a little unsightly. We don't want the judges to bite into those, so we're just gonna go ahead and remove them. So we'll get all those off. It's looking good. Again, look at the color, it's beautiful. We're gonna set these to the side for now. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take some brown sugar and we're gonna lay a nice little bed of brown sugar down. The next thing we're gonna do is we are going to take our hot rub, Killer Hogs hot rub, and we're just gonna put a little bit down, just a little bit of a zip to balance out the sweet. So next thing we're gonna do, take 3 knobs of butter and get that down. Then we're gonna take a little bit of honey, and I just like to make a couple runs with it. So there's that, that's good. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our ribs, we're gonna go meat side down, and that's the way that they're gonna go on the pit. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna repeat the process for the bone side. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna get these bad boys wrapped up. All right, guys, you can see we got these back on the pit here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna close it up. We're gonna come check them for tenderness in about an hour. It may take a little longer, but I like to start checking them after an hour. All right, guys, so it's been about an hour. We're just gonna check them for tenderness. You can see here, there's a little bit of resistance in here. They're not quite there yet. You want this to come in and out, not have it raise up at all. I mean, we're not going by temperature on these, we're going by feel, and it's just not quite there yet. Okay guys, it's been just under 2 hours, so these are looking good. You can see we got good pullback. You can also tell that, I mean, it's just going in like butter. So these are where I want them. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get them in and show you what we do for the sauce. All right guys, you can see we got our ribs here. They look beautiful. We got great pullback on these bones. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get some sauce on. So we're gonna go ahead and just start applying our sauce here. And we're just gonna brush lightly. So I'm just giving it a very, very light coat just to touch it up. Get those bones painted up. Give a nice shine to them. So now that we have them all sauced up, we're gonna get them back out in the pit and we're just gonna put them out there for 10-15 minutes tops. What we want is we just want this sauce to go ahead and set. After that, we'll be done. We'll slice into them and we'll see how we did. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip these over and you can see where the bones run. And I'm gonna leave these end pieces on there because it's kind of at a weird angle. So now we're just gonna go ahead and slice in between each bone all the way down the rack. Nice, even slices. And we'll go ahead and we will flip these over. So there are your slices. You can see here, it's still very juicy. We have a beautiful smoke ring on them. And look at all that juice just running off of them there. And that's beautiful. So, without further ado, we're gonna try one of these. So we got a beautiful smoke ring. Very nice and juicy. You can see that. So juicy. All right, let's give it a shot. Perfect bite, perfectly done. And these are delicious. And that's how you do competition ribs. We'll see you next time.